Manchester United's future is bright. It most definitely is orange. The shake-up of the backroom staff around Erik Ten Hag under INEOS's power is taking shape, and it has a very familiar feel about it. Was it them who appointed these people and these coaches behind Ten Hag, or negotiating with these people behind Ten Hag? Or is it Ten Hag's picks again? You kind of go down the same old road. Let's address the elephant in the room. Address the elephant in the room and talk about why it's all so Dutch at Manchester United going forward. We have transfer updates, everything else going on. There is a small rumour going around about Marcus Rashford I want to address and talk about as well in terms of transfer out of Manchester United. But we are concentrating on the situation regarding coaching staff. Updates on McLaren, Van der Gaag and Benny McCarthy, as well. We'll get into all of that, get your opinions on it. 6:30 show is back, everyone. Welcome along. Forever United TV, I'm Adam. Please give the video a like. Get involved in the live chat as well, please. Subscribe to do that. Get involved live. If you're catching up later on, then please do get your comments in below and we'll try and reply to as many of them as possible. But yeah, in terms of news today, it's pretty much all been around Ten Hag. Ten Hag's new contract. We touched on that earlier on in the lunchtime show. Went through that in pretty much all the details that were available at the time. A few transfer rumours, but what's taking shape and what noises are coming out now, and this one came about round about midday as well, was Rangnick. Again, another Dutchman. Another one with SEG, if you want to look down that road, in the agency model that they've got there and the scrutiny that they're under with Ten Hag and everything like that as well. Let's not even go there, but if you wanted to look deep into it, there's another link right there. Is it just the easy targets at the moment again for Manchester United? I don't know what the reason is behind this whole Dutch theme going on at Manchester United right now, but I don't know if you guys are concerned about it. Dutch has never really worked when it comes to coaching at Manchester United. You could argue the point Ten Hag's got 2 trophies in 2 years. Yes, we're not getting into that debate tonight, but really, the coaching staff, is there no one else out there? Do you feel like because everything is all around people Ten Hag knows, has worked with, it's him who's making these decisions? Is this what's being negotiated in, and why the news on these other coaches coming about is breaking as Ten Hag is signing his new deal? You feel like that's what it is and why we're getting all of these stories about new coaches coming in behind Ten Hag, the restructure, trying to build an environment that gives the coach the best opportunity possible by employing people that have never ever coached or managed in a top league. Now, Van Nistelrooy went through the positives of that, but adding another coach to it, is it a little bit too much? And to get into that, let's get into what's actually been said and where all the news has come from first of all. Samuel Luckhurst was one to come up with his story earlier on today from the MEN. Go ahead, Eagles manager Rangnick is set to join the Manchester United coaching staff as part of an overhaul of their backroom staff. It is understood Manchester United want a new coaching model akin to Manchester City, where Pep Guardiola is supported by an expansive backroom staff. Along the lines of other coaches that are currently at Manchester United, Benny McCarthy, according to Rob Dawson of ESPN, is set to leave the club when his contract is up on the 30th of June. No new contract for Benny McCarthy. Does that automatically make you think Ruud van Nistelrooy is taking the ultimate degrade in, not degrading, but the step down in coaching, what he calls from a first team manager to a striker manager? Everyone would automatically look at the actual Van Nistelrooy replacing the obvious striker coach or forward coach in Benny McCarthy. I think Ruud's made more of that personally, and I hope he isn't just a striker coach. The jobs of Steve McLaren and Mitchell van der Gaag, the 2 assistants to Erik Ten Hag, could be in danger of INEOS if INEOS consider making significant changes to the backroom staff at Manchester United. That's from the Times Sport as well. I mean, if you're bringing in Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rangnick, then you're definitely looking to move on Van der Gaag and McLaren, surely. You have to get rid of them too as well. You can't have that many people involved in the coaching setup at Manchester United. There's too many voices, too many opinions. These are all men and coaches that have managed at the top level as well. They all see themselves as first team coaches, And that is a bit of an issue for me, I feel. I think we're looking at a problem waiting to happen in a way, unless it's made very clear what these roles are. Ten Hag, let's not kid ourselves, he's better than all of these people, and they will all be working under him. I just want to know why we're not looking further afield. It just seems like we're just focusing on the Dutch league and Dutch people and people that Ten Hag knows or he's worked with before and people that he trusts. I thought he trusts McLaren and Van der Gaag from Ajax. That didn't work out. Should we not just try something different? Someone who's going to stand up to Ten Hag maybe. Because the admiration that Ruud van Nistelrooy has got for him, I don't see him maybe standing up to him. The communication side, like I explained about Van Nistelrooy, is all good and well, and I think that works well for Manchester United. But it's a bit of a concern that it is just one man's voice again. Like they're there, but for what reason? How much of a say are they going to have? Are they going to have enough about them to tell Ten Hag that it needs changing or it's going wrong at one point or a certain point? So this is where I get a little bit worried about it. It's like, why is it all just so orange? It's the obvious one, isn't it? You automatically think that Ten Hag, with his contract, he is actually negotiating in these deals and people that he wants. I just don't see INEOS. It's just my opinion. Shoot me down if you want. Give me your opinions on this. I'll come to the chat on it in a minute. I just don't see INEOS going out and specifically looking at people and coaches that are just, I don't know, like Rangnick, he's not done anything. Go ahead Eagles of the Eredivisie again. He's never won anything as a manager. Obviously, he was managing at FC20, managing at Go Ahead Eagles. He's limited, I'll say that. Apparently, his preferred formation is 4-3-3 defensive. I don't know. I've not even looked into that or I've seen that with any relevance at all right now. But you've got to also take into consideration alongside this, like I just said then, is there anyone actually going to say to Ten Hag that this isn't working, this is not right? Because it didn't seem like anyone did last season. He was hell-bent on playing the same players, playing the same formation, the same system, and he was trying to convince everybody that we were watching a clear and obvious plan when we wasn't. Now, I understand new coaches, new ideas and everything coming in, but is it too many? Like, are we spoiling the broth here by throwing too many cooks in? That comes into mind, doesn't it? There seems to be a lot, and a lot of very similar coaches. Whether or not these are spread out or not, we'll see in time, but it does look like Ten Hag is surrounding himself with his own little army, I think, and he feels comfortable with it. And if INEOS want to look at that and go, that's what makes the manager comfortable, to get the best environment, to bring the best out of him, then they're going to go with that. That's how you got to look at it. But I just would have liked to have seen something a little bit different. People were saying, look, that they're just INEOS are giving Ten Hag the chance now by giving him coaches that he actually wants instead of working with previous regimes' coaches. Well, he wanted McCarthy, he wanted McLaren, he wanted Van der Gaag. They were all brought in by Ten Hag, so I don't know what this myth is about Ten Hag finally getting the coaches that he wants and he's not dealing with other people's. Like, them three coaches were his. Ramsey left because he wasn't cutting it there, and he's now over in the MLS. So, realistically, that's false, completely false. And he's got to try and find a way of making this work. Because, yeah, we're going to get investment in the players. We are going to get players through. Hopefully, the right type of players, and INEOS can get them over the line for us. But Ten Hag needs to change his... He needs to change his philosophy. He needs to change his style somehow. Because, obviously, last season it didn't work. And we were very predictable and very easy to read. And it was easy to plot against United. We were easy to defend against. And we were easy to attack against. Are we going to close that gap? Like, we brought in what looks like a defensive-minded coach in Rangnick. So maybe we're looking at surefire in the defence a little bit. Obviously, Agate, the out-and-out destroyer, holding midfielder, we're looking at bringing him in. So maybe we are trying to rectify the issues from last season and how we were playing, how easy we were to play against. I don't know. Like, you've got to look at it and go... it's impossible to judge until we see how Manchester United line up, how we play. You sort of give it, 10 games? If you're not seeing anything new, then you start to worry a little bit, don't you? And the same old as what was happening last season starts to creep in there, and you panic. You do as a fan, because This is the last throw of the dice. Like, they're fully committed to Ten Hag now, and I'm not convinced about the appointment that we've made in Hag. I don't know anything about him. I just looked into his past and seen he's not coached or managed anywhere significantly, and he's just another yes man to Ten Hag. That's how I look at it. I mean, Van der Gaag was a yes man. Obviously, Steve McLaren would be as well. He wanted Benny McCarthy, he got him. Are we just changing faces to make it look like we're making a completely new restructure of our coaching staff? Is it realistically just the same as it was before? Now, the only one out of everything so far that excites me is Van Nistelrooy. I think that we can look at and get a little bit excited about. I do think that he has got something, and the way that he talks, eventually maybe he will be the voice that tells Ten Hag, no, you cannot carry on this way. You can't keep doing the same thing and making the same mistakes. Someone has to open the mouth and tell Ten Hag and say, no, look, this is what assistants are for. Have you got the balls to actually tell the manager that this is going wrong? And then you've got to question Ten Hag on this as well. Is he stubborn enough to say, no, it's my way or the highway? Or is he actually going to accept that things need to change and take a second opinion? Maybe this is where the conversation was with INEOS in this contract negotiation with him, that these people coming in are people, yes, that you want and you're confident in, but you have to obviously take instruction from them as well, take the critique from them as well, and actually look outside the box a little bit. But you tell me, guys, is it a worrying sign for you? I'm going to come into the chat right now and see what you're saying on this one. Erik Ten Hag had the best invest in a stable vest and keep his back to the wall, says Gary. We've got more striking coaches than strikers at the football club, says Altios. At the moment, that is pretty much true, actually. Adam Pep surrounds himself with Spanish. Communication is key, and he needed more coaches from day one. Yeah, but he picked the two other coaches around him that he trusted as well last season, the season before. So why are we not saying the same thing now? It's like we're forgetting what's gone before again. It's like clean slate. Ten Hag's perfect because he's changing all these coaches now, and the ones that were there before were no good. This is it. We're building an environment around Ten Hag. And yes, that does work, and that's all good and well saying that, but still, there are other managers out there that could deal with the situation better than what Ten Hag did last season still, and we can't say that that's false either. But yeah, Pep Guardiola surrounds himself with experienced people. He brought them from Barcelona, for God's sake. We're bringing go-ahead Eagles, and no disrespect, PSV, like Van Nistelrooy carries himself, but in terms of experience, very, very inexperienced. And Van Nistelrooy himself has said that. Look, he's always looking to learn. He's coming to United to learn. Is it? I mean, I don't want to hear that much. Obviously, as a manager, that would be concerning for me, that he's coming to learn still some more. But what he brings to Manchester United, we'll see in time. What his role is what's more important right now. And I think what everybody wants to see is, where do these people place themselves in Manchester United's structure and the coaching structure? How far up is Van Nistelrooy going to be? Is it a straightforward striking coach? It's a big demotion. Even if you're at Manchester United, it's a demotion in coming just doing a striking coach role. He should at least be assistant manager. He has coached at a higher level than Hag has anyway. So I would hope that Hag is just there to help out coaching wise, defensive shape, things like that. Like I said at the top of the show, he is very defensive-minded according to his past history and where he's managed at FC Twente, Go Ahead Eagles. So hopefully it's going to be like construction and that communication side of things. Ten Hag needs people around him that can communicate better with that Manchester United side and get them in shape. And if they're both on board with Ten Hag's message, then the chopping block will come down onto Ten Hag's head, because it does look like he's the one that's picked these coaches. There's better coaches out there. We all know that. Let's not kid ourselves. We're not making excuses. Let's just be honest and say, look, there are better coaches out there, aren't there, than what we've got in at Manchester United right now. And for some reason, we haven't got them, and we've just gone with people that Ten Hag knows. Are they yes coaches? Never mind yes men. Are they yes coaches? That's what we need to know. Hopefully it works out for him. I do hope it works out, because I just want to see United back up there again and everything working. But yeah, it does concern me that it does seem to be a bit short-sighted. A lot of coaches that have been at the club need to be gone. You say that again. I'm happy we have Ruud joining, but agree we should try and mix it up a little. Surely Erik has networked. Yeah, he must know different people in different leagues to add a bit of a different dimension to us, surely. Do we know if Ruud will have a wee clause saying he can play if we still can't score goals next season, says Louise. Oh, God, yeah. If there was one striker out there from the past I'd love to bring in right now, it would be Ruud. But again, we probably won't get the ball to him. Judas Jim is skint. The Glazers took him for a ride. Sim, completely off subject again. He just doesn't like the Glazers. It's simple. Anthony Wisdom says, it's all well and good getting the staff in, but the priorities still haven't been addressed. We are apparently speaking to multiple players, but no one has signed or left the playing staff. It will all happen after next week, mate. When that window, the window is officially open, but the proper window opens on the 1st of July. When everyone's finances. I mean, we're not going to get into that again. We spoke about it numerous times, but I do believe once June 30th is gone, we will start seeing the movement on the players. We have to, don't we? Craig, wow, look at how we had managers who won things and still was told by a lot of these same supporters they are not good enough. Delusion mindset. Read these supporters. In terms of the managers that were there before, well, if they had a structure around them, maybe it would have been different for them as well. This is the first time we're going to see if someone like INEOS does make a difference and a structure does make a difference, because there's going to be no player power anymore at Manchester United like there was for all of the managers before Erik Ten Hag. One thing that Ten Hag hasn't had to deal with is the club backing player power over a manager. And that's one thing he can't deny, because the club have massively supported him on that. And it's only going to get tighter for the players. So, if anything, that environment that INEOS are talking about is that strict culture on what the playing staff are going to have to abide by. And that all works well for the manager. It's like, listen in or out you go. Simple as that. That's what it's going to be, I think, at Manchester United now. It does not seem good. The last thing we need is a defensive-minded coaches. We had enough of seeing that in the Euros. Thank goodness we have a couple of days break from it. Yeah. Too pragmatic. You want him to have a consistent style of play. All coaches need to coach the same style. He need Ruud to communicate with players. Yeah, I'm just questioning why we had Van der Gaag and Steve McLaren and that was failing for 2 years. It was all right in the first year. It seemed to get across, but again, how are we going to get past this second season syndrome? Is Erik Ten Hag going to have a good season right now? We can move past this whole every single manager failing after 2 years and a bit. Solskjaer was the longest serving manager after Sir Alex Ferguson. Can Ten Hag get past Solskjaer's record of getting through 2.5 seasons? If Ten Hag sees the season out, then some people will look at that and go, well, that's progress, isn't it? Because we are moving forward. We have got a manager that is lasting longer than what it's done, than any other managers have done before. Whatever happened to the psychologist they brought in? Is he in therapy? Dealing with United players, I think any therapist would probably need to be under that as well for himself. 3 months and the whole new United, I'm sure. How long, guys? Here's a question for you. How long into the season before you start to get a little bit disheartened if things are not working right and we don't see any progress? Where do you expect Manchester United to be 10 games into a season? They always say, don't they, October is the parameter. That's where the needle needs to be. That's where you judge the start of a season. You can sort of guess who's going to be in and amongst it. October. Because October last year, pretty much going into late autumn, early winter, Manchester United had lost 12 of the first 24 games and we're pretty much out of everything significant apart from the FA Cup, simply because it wasn't started yet. But when do we start to get disheartened if things aren't going right? How patient will this fan base be? That's what we've got to say. Mike says, no, it's difficult, but as fans, we are going to have to give it a year before judging. Also, any new coaching structure has got to be an improvement. 6/10 wins, says Dawson. So a whole season for Mike, really. A year in, that's when we can start judging it. INEOS can't get... I look at INEOS right now and they've backed Ten Hag massively by giving him a new contract. Yes, it's been restructured and everything in it has changed from his original one, his powers, what control he has over transfers and whatnot. But like, INEOS can't sack Ten Hag in this first season. Surely not. It's going to cost them an absolute fortune to do it. We heard earlier on that Ten Hag's wage is exactly the same, £9 million a year. So you've got what there, like 20 odd £million worth if they want to sack Ten Hag this season. It is a massive, massive backing and commitment from INEOS to keep Ten Hag in situ. And they have given him everything that he wants, it would seem, regarding the coaching side of things. Everyone says they'll wait to see what transfers come in with INEOS before they can really start judging them. I totally get that as well. But yeah, you've got to look at the time scale of things and how long you give Ten Hag now. Some people will say he's had long enough already. I've got past my argument of Ten Hag now. I'm looking forward. I have to look forward because this is the decision that's been made. So, new coaches, new structure. Do INEOS actually have to give Ten Hag a couple of years? Because they've been big. Look, Sir Jim Radcliffe's been giving it the big one, like building that environment around the manager. Yeah, it's all right, one thing saying it, but if you don't back it up, then you're like a bit of an idiot yourself, don't you? So what is backing up this new structure? Surely you need to give Ten Hag the time to see if it works then. Because you've talked about the coach not being the issue. It's the environment around him and the people around him and what's been going on, how Manchester United have been run. But if it's only its first year, if it starts to go wrong, surely you can't say with all of the carnage that's happened this summer, the Dan Ashworth situation, the changing of everybody, the staffing, the players coming in, everything. You cannot judge a structure and a new regime off of one season, can you? How close does Ten Hag have to be to that cut-off line for INEOS to pull the plug? If he goes into this first 10 games of the season and loses 5 of them, what do INEOS do then? They can't do anything. They have to back Ten Hag. They cannot get rid of him because it goes against everything that they've built around him already and this big speech that Sir Jim Radcliffe has come out with for me. So that's the problem that they've created if it goes wrong. They and their whole start of Manchester United and their reign is solely reliant on Erik Ten Hag. That's the major decision. The biggest decision that they've had to make all summer is Erik Ten Hag. He is holding their first year and everyone's judgment of INEOS in his hands and what this squad is that he's got. He has to get so much out of this squad to make this look like INEOS have made the right decision. Because the fans will be putting pressure. The media will be putting pressure on INEOS if Ten Hag gets a similar start and has a similar season to last season. I personally don't think they can get rid of him in the first season. No matter how bad it is, yeah, there'll be an outcry. They'll come up with an excuse. And do you know what? Unless in this contract they have safeguarded themselves. Maybe this is what Ten Hag wasn't agreeing with. Maybe if a certain standard isn't met or a certain level or position in the league isn't met by a certain amount of time, there is a clause in Ten Hag's contract where they can pull the plug. They would have had to have done something to sort of make sure that they are safe within this. Commitment to Ten Hag needs to come at a cost of performance and at a certain level and where we should be in the league by a certain stage of the season, I think. And we're never going to know. We're never going to know what's in this contract. But I just feel like if they are solely backing him and there isn't anything like that in the contract, then they're going to look like absolute idiots. And I don't think they'll want to look that bad in their first year. I don't think they'll be able to touch Ten Hag. There has to be something that's actually been negotiated in there, surely. Loads of your comments coming in. I'm going to get to them now, guys. Caesar says, why are British interested in Dutch coaches and staff? Erik Ten Hag at Manchester United. Hasselbank, England staff. Serena Wiegman, England coach. Hey, you've got something. It's just not worked at United fully yet. What else have we got there? The free summer windows, but in what decade? Thanks for that, Sim. Adam, that became everyone else's said no to Manchester United. That's because everyone said no to Manchester United, says Christopher. Not became. I think that was a typo, mate. Sorry. Get the Deadwood out or nothing will change, says John. Darryl says, I suspect INEOS put some kind of break clause in his contract because, let's face it, he hung onto the job by the skin of his teeth. It will show who's sort of got the teeth and who's in charge of Manchester United with this contract length of Ten Hag's. And if it does come to a point where the results are not going well for Ten Hag next season, if INEOS don't pull the plug, questions are going to be asked as to how brutal are they? How ruthless are INEOS when it comes to results? Because we've seen them sack 5 managers at Nice in the time that they've been there. So, yeah, well over one a season. Can they afford to take that same sort of approach at Manchester United? I don't think they can. United needs consistency more than ever right now. Continuity is massive for United right now. And INEOS have backed the man. They have backed Ten Hag massively. I don't care what anyone says. When it comes to transfers and we don't get certain players through this summer and people come out with the excuse that Ten Hag hasn't been backed, I don't want to hear it. He's been backed by getting this contract and getting the staff that he needs and getting this chance to take Manchester United forward again. He's been given a second opportunity, I feel, in this. And he has won 2 trophies, yes, but INEOS don't want FA Cups and League Cups. They want Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, and they want them within 3 years. Their whole restructure, their whole reign of Manchester United co-owners is in the hands of Ten Hag. Has he got it in him? Hi, Adam. I did see that Hack has a long coaching career and it seems Ten Hag knows him well. Yes, he does. It does have a real gamble feel about it. A bit worrying. Very happy about Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yes. Personally, if you were to ask me, I said this a moment ago, but if you're asking me why Hack's come in, I just think defensive structure. That's all I can think about. That's all I can think about. Getting that team in shape. Another voice. Talking like Ten Hag, and I don't just mean that because he's Dutch. Talking the same football and philosophy language as Ten Hag. They all work the same way. They all run off the book, the Johan Cruyff book, passing out from the back, controlling the game. Ten Hag has missed the mark with that massively last season because we've never seen any of that. We didn't control one game last season under Ten Hag. So maybe he's bringing staff in to actually get that message across, because we're hearing all the noises and rumours coming out of Manchester United still about some players not understanding the message, not understanding what Ten Hag wants from them, what position to play, the role of that position, different things to do. He just doesn't seem to be able to get the message across. And you know what? We can see that as fans. It's very clear when you watch the games that these players are running around and some of them actually don't know what they're doing. It's embarrassing to watch. It really is. Then you get the likes of Antony kicking up a stink, one of Ten Hag's signings, because he tries to move him across to left back when he knows that the team he's in dire need of defenders and we haven't got a fit left back, and he's bitching and moaning. That, for me, shouts out that players really are just thinking of themselves and no one really cares what Ten Hag thinks. He should be out of the club for doing that, Antony. If he's moaning and bitching like that in public, like in the middle of a game because he's got to do a job for the team, he doesn't belong at Manchester United. He doesn't belong at Manchester United for the quality of the player. 2 seasons in, he's just regressed beyond. Some would say he wasn't even good the first season. But that just looks like a player that Ten Hag lost control of. And then he comes out and says he's unstoppable. Lost in translation massively, I would say, on that one. We'll have to judge Ten Hag on the signings that come in. If it's a poor or average window, what can we expect? I expect to finish top 4 with the squad that we've got right now. That's my standard. You got given the chance. You said you could do it. Injuries cost us last season. Let's move on. Forget about that. Let's get some injured players back in and United get back in the top 4. That's my standard right now. We will bring players in. We will bring players in. You couldn't bring anyone from Last Supper onto the coaching team. If Deadwood isn't shifted, nothing will change. Antony going in strong on that again. Deadwood, what's Deadwood, guys? Tell me right now, because now we're in the realm of everything else is in place. The coaching staff's coming in. Ten Hag's got his contract. He's got his backup staff. Everything is Dutch. Everything is orange. Everything is happy for Ten Hag and what he wants. Who is the Deadwood? Talk to me right now. And let's be realistic with who we actually think is going to be out of Manchester United. We know the ones that are out already. In not Marcus Rashford. In Varane, Martial, Brandon Williams. Players like this, no more. We're not going to see the same old duck eggs out on the pre-season tour this time. I'm just going to bring in some other news where you guys come up with some names in there. By the way, Jadon Sancho has to report to training by the 8th of July. God, please get him gone. Please get him gone, for God's sake. Other transfer news quickly, just going to update you on everything that's going on. Sky have been doing their usual sort of day behind the news. Manchester United remaining positive talks with Joshua Zirkzee representatives. There is now cautious optimism that a deal can be done for Zirkzee, with the club prepared to pay the Dutchman's 33.8 release clause. United are also continuing talks with PSG over the signing of midfielder Manuel Ugarte. United have a price in mind for him. That's it. That is it for incomings. No Branthwaite update today at all. Interesting one. There is a lot of stories, a few coming out from one source regarding Marcus Rashford. And it'll be interesting to see if you guys would call Marcus Rashford Deadwood. Saudi Pro League club Al Ittihad are expected to make an approach for Marcus Rashford soon. Rashford is one of their main targets. Not happening. This is the old Mo Salah going for stupid amounts of money and being offered the world sort of scenario again that Liverpool were dealing with last summer. United are not going to sell Marcus Rashford to the Saudi Pro League. Marcus Rashford will not want to go. As much as I don't like Marcus Rashford, I will be absolutely flabbergasted if he thinks that moving to the Saudi Pro League is the way forward for him. I will be blown away. Lee from Cape Town in a super chat. Sorry I missed that one, mate. Hi, Adam. Really? Really over 300 here and only 100 likes. Right, sorry. He's talking about people liking the video. We are over 100 likes, mate. Thank you guys for doing that. Please, everybody, keep giving the video a like. Get your Deadwood comments in. I'm coming to them in a second. But yeah, just to go back on that Marcus Rashford story again. Nah. Not at all. Not a chance in hell. They will bid... If it was the Saudi Pro League, Al Ittihad, bidding for Marcus Rashford, I think it would be a bid in excess of 150 million. I do. As unbelievable as that sounds, the age of Marcus Rashford, the superstar that Marcus Rashford is, like everything he brings, for them to bid for him, you're talking 150 million plus minimum. We all know that he's nowhere near worth that. And realistically, he would want to play in a decent league, and that for us would be a bid of probably over 70 million for Rashford. But they were probably offering, $500,000 a week? Easily. 150 million, probably a big sexy signing on fee or something like that. It's never going to happen. Rashford's not going to Saudi. I'm going to say that now. They can want him. They can want him all they want. Like they wanted Salah, but he didn't go. They're not stupid, these players. It's a crap league. And you need to be near retirement status to actually want to go to the Saudi Pro League. You've no credentials at all, and like your credentials will disappear off the planet. Marcus Rashford will never play for England again if he moves to the Saudi Pro League. It's a non-starter. I'm just going to say that now. Other news from Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United will add Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rangnick to their new backroom staff. Erik Ten Hag will sign his new contract in the next days. All agreed and 100% done. Finalised, finished. Romano has just announced it that Ruud, Hack, Ten Hag, the new shake-up, the new coaching staff, the new face of Manchester United. Very orange, but it is happening. It's all done. Signed, sealed, delivered, courtesy of Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. By the weekend, all three of them will have new Manchester United contracts. There is your up-to-date news on that situation, guys. Okay, let's get into the fun and games. Big up. Evening, Adam and everyone. We need outgoings. Maguire, Donny, Lindelof, Anthony. Anthony too. If I have my way, Luke Shaw, McTominay. If had my way too. There's a list. United, I want Zirkzee, please, says Abidi. BB, sorry. I'm bored of this Xerxes news, honestly. I just want something to happen now. Yeah, Henry, I know what you're saying, mate. You know what I mean? On paper, he is a superstar, isn't he? Like, he carries a lot of clout, Marcus Rashford. You can judge him on the pitch all you want, but he does carry a lot, doesn't he? He is seen in the world of football. Like, it's a marquee signing for the Saudi Pro League, Marcus Rashford, and they will big it up like the biggest signing ever. The Sancho saga affected Rashford. He probably sided with him. I always said that all along. That's what happened. That had a big part to play in it. Imagine going from Mbappe to Rashford, says Orlando. Still what? They won't look at it that way. I think Rashford will do well in Ligue 1 if he goes there. I forgot Lindelof and Sancho. Yeah, honestly, like, Sancho, Greenwood, we know they're both going. We talked about Brandon Williams, Varane, and Martial all going. It's a good start. You can't get it all done in one summer. But the big ones, I think, that for most people are the ones that have been here a while. Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, Danny van der Beek, Marcus Rashford. Players like this, a lot of people see that as Deadwood now. Some people still clinging on to hope that Marcus Rashford can turn it around. Personally, I don't think he's going to get any better than what he is now. I don't see any improvement in Rashford. We've got the finished article. That's his limit. He's at his ceiling. Is it time to sell and move on and get someone else in? Even if he does have a good season, is it still time to move on? That's the question. Right now, I think it was a no-brainer after what he did this season that he should be let go. But a few people disagreed, thinks he should be given another chance. Everyone's got opinions on Marcus Rashford, I know, but hey, I think he'll be playing next season. Super chat in from Glenn C. The thing is, Adam, it's not just Ten Hag. The players couldn't understand what Ralf wanted them to do as well. Yet look at Austria. Yeah, I mean, everyone can jump on the Wreck-It Ralph bandwagon with Austria right now. You've got no prima donnas at all in the Austria side, and it's perfect setup. Perfect setup. Do you know what? I said this a while ago, actually, when United weren't doing too well under Ten Hag in the first season. At one point, I said it. Ten Hag would get more out of Manchester United's under-21s than he would out of Manchester United's Galactico first team. I reckon he would get more and look like a coach if he was using them players. These managers work with players that just want to graft, listen to the manager, want to fit into a formation, not just do what they want to do, spit the dummy out if they are not listened to and don't get to do what they want to do. Prime example is, like I've just said there, Anthony throwing a wobbler on the pitch in front of everyone at Old Trafford because he had to do a shift at left back. The team needs to be trained in a certain way, in a system that everybody knows what that player is doing in there. Not just what they're doing in their role. They need to understand what their player behind them is doing so they can accomplish what they need to do in theirs as well. The whole team needs to know everybody's role. And that's how Ten Hag will work. The structure would be passing out from the back, possession-based football. Nobody's listening to him. You can see it on the pitch. Give Ten Hag that Manchester United under-21 side, he'll look like a manager. I guarantee it, because there's not one ego amongst any of them. Manchester United squad, well, there you go. There's your culture, there's your issue. It's the prima donnas that are in Manchester United side that think they should be doing something else than what Ten Hag's telling them to do. That's the problem you've got at Manchester United and what Ten Hag has got. There is a point in what Glenn said with the super chat, like, yes, you can see what Austria's setup is like. When you've got players like Sabitzer who are just disciplined and want to just do the job and listen to what the manager says, you're going to get a world-beating side. That everybody is tuned into what Ralf Rangnick wants in the Austria side. You can see it. They ran France close and deserved to actually win that group. Manchester United let that coach go. Manchester United's board let Ralf Rangnick go because he opened his mouth. He said straight away, he figured Manchester United out in 2 weeks of being there. He knew exactly what the problem was. Jose Mourinho knew what the problem was at Manchester United. But the board listened to the players. Went with the players, went with the egos, went with the commission selling shirt sellers, and then we went tits up. And it went all wrong from there. Ed Woodward, you can blame him for a lot of the shit that's gone on at Manchester United right now. And stand by, it's like the Dutch way is everybody listening. Like that Dutch side right now out there in the Euros is It's not a world-beating Dutch side by any stretch of the imagination. It's never the best side we've seen. But what you've got in that team is players that believe in what the manager's telling them to do. And I just feel like that's what would have happened if Ten Hag had, like, look at the players that do well for Ten Hag. Who would you say? Who are his main players that do well for him? You look at it, you go, Garnacho and Mainu come through the academy. No, nothing else but Ten Hag. That's it. Ten Hag has given instruction to the academy. I know this because I spoke with Travis Binion. I spoke with him when Ten Hag came in his first season. I spoke with the under-21s manager as well as the under-18s manager through the whole academy. I spoke to Nick Cox. The communication in the first season from Ten Hag to that academy is of a certain style of play and how he wants the team to play. So Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho, yes, Garnacho was just about coming through, but he was still playing a little bit here and there in between the youth system and the first team in the first year. All they know is Ten Hag football. They listen to him, and that's why they play well, because they want to play for him. You've got players at Manchester United there that think they've seen everything, done everything, know better than the manager, and want to do things their way. Rashford doesn't want to track back. He's not a Ten Hag player. I'm telling you right now, Ten Hag will back him all the way because he hasn't got anybody else there. But he's not a Ten Hag player. Never in a million years. Scott McTominay will do everything that Ten Hag tells him to. And look at the season he's had. He's technically not good enough. And if you ask Scott McTominay, he will tell you that. Scott McTominay actually goes in and looks on Google and finds critique about his game and uses it as fuel to actually make himself better. That's Scott McTominay's mentality. He doesn't care about the players that he's playing with. He just gives absolutely everything. And if you're not good enough, it's fair enough. But he still gives everything for the shirt. And he will always listen to the manager. That's why every single manager has kept Scott McTominay in their side. They've all loved him. 5 donated memberships in from Post Life. You absolute legend, my man. Thank you so much. They've gone to Mark Andrew Paul, Ian Pritch, Kevin Moniteef. Is that Moniteef? Sorry if I said that wrong. The Mindspace and Christopher Kyle Di Stefano. Great name. Thank you very much, you absolute legend, Pulse Life. Guys, make sure you get back in the chat there and give Pulse Life a massive thank you for them donated memberships as well. It's what this community is here on FUTV. Everything is built around the community and people giving and everybody having a say. Glazers and players didn't like the truth being outed by Rangnick and made him walk the plank for it. Blondie, bang on the money. Bang on the money, I agree with that one. It's exactly what happened. He spoke out about the issues. He aired the dirty laundry, just like Jose did, and off with his head. Can't have that. Can't be seen to be inept and have someone below us telling us what's what. I would bring Ralf back. He could really help under INEOS. Good combination. It would be. But I think it's ship sailed. Do you know what? I would not be surprised if things do go wrong with Ten Hag. He gets all the backing. He gets all the players out that need to go out, and it doesn't work. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a second stint of Ralf Rangnick. I wouldn't. But I just think it's a million miles away. I think it's one of them sort of like pipe dream sort of thoughts. Some people would say, why are you even talking it in the realms of pipe dream, like he wasn't good enough in the first place? I just think he had an idea, but they just threw it out because it was an interim. These players didn't want anything to do with it. I'll tell you, Adam, if Saudi League offered £150 million for Rashford, United would take it. I don't think they would. They would want to, but Marcus Rashford has to want to leave United for this to happen. He's not going to the Saudi Pro League, and players do have power right now. 4-year contract for Marcus Rashford to run yet. There's no way that he's agreeing to go into the Saudi League. If he does, he tells everyone on the world of football what he's really all about. There's not a chance in hell, mate. Even if they offered 150, United wouldn't sell Marcus Rashford to the Saudi Pro League. He wouldn't allow it to happen. That's how much power Marcus Rashford has got. Not a chance. I'll say that right now. I will be gobsmacked. You can throw whatever forfeit you want at me. If Marcus Rashford goes to the Saudi Pro League, I'll do whatever you guys in the comment section want me to as a forfeit. He's never going to the Saudi Pro League. Please don't backfire. He won't. No chance. Ten Hag would have been sacked in the first season if not for Casemiro, I think. Players turning up for one season is great, but it covers over so many cracks. It does papers over cracks, and it's got no continuity. It's got no future behind it. It's not sustainable. It's shit, basically. I watched every match Austria have played. I hope Ralf Rangnick gets Austria to the final, Adam. I would love it if he did. I would. Adds his tempting fate. Gray, don't get excited, mate. You know yourself it's not going to happen. And Rodder, you as well. You can pipe down as well, mate. Oh, guys, we passed over 150 likes, by the way. You absolute legends. You're smashing it tonight. More news just coming in. Let me just get into this, actually. I need to look at this one first of all. Actually, I've just been sent a video of Rangnick doing a halftime team talks, doing the round on social media right now. I think I'll have a listen to that one in a little bit. But yeah, it looks like he's absolutely slaughtering someone there. Good to see. But how these prima donnas going to listen to him? That's the question. But time will tell. But yes, that pretty much has everything all up to date, guys, for today. And thank you so much again. Legends. Just about to hit 170 likes. Keep liking the video, guys, on the way out. Thank you to anyone who donated membership, super chats, all the mods, all the members as they are. Welcome new members as well. Thank you, everybody. Great show again. Good to be back and not have the stress of the Euros boring us to death for a night. Good to have normal structure back in place. And guys, that is us all finished. No news on Malacia yet, Mr. Dacia Sandero. He's in training and trying to get himself up to date. Not up to date, but up to fitness, match fitness. Up to date, like I'm reprogramming him. Guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Please, again, like the video on the way out. Subscribe if you are new. And I will see you all 12 o'clock tomorrow. Usual schedule. We have the panel show back at the normal evening time tomorrow, guys. Free, fresh guests, all Man United fans coming on the show tomorrow. Get involved. We are going live at 6:30, guys. So make sure that you are there. Cheers, everybody. See you all in the morning. Have a good one.